when you start changing the way you live, when you start changing the way you eat, the way you look at life, everybody around you gets on guard. They're either going to latch on and say, I want to be like you, or they're going to run the other direction, or they're going to try to sabotage you. They might try to sabotage you.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Why would you do that? How come you don't? Come on. What I hear is people go, how come you don't want to go out for a drink anymore with me? I do want to go out for a drink with you, but then I'm going to feel awful the next day.
Right.
So what I'd rather do is go for a walk with you.
Right.
And the other person feels defensive because it starts to make them look at their own lifestyle and how they're numbing their pain or how they're recreating or how they're feeding their soul. And so people, they find they have to step back a little. They go forward and then they step back. And then they find that place of groundedness. So they start vibrating at a whole different energy and attracting different people. But what most people have learned is not to push their goals or their desires on others. They can just stand in their own process and let people bear witness. And those who want to come along, come along. And I'll tell you something, Ronnie, I've been doing this for a very long time. And when I started, it was lonely and meek. In fact, one of the reasons I did not use the word raw in my book is because people were shying away from it. That was a scary word when I started writing my book. And it turned a lot of people, I'm not doing that. I mean, that was the attitude was, I'm not doing that. And if you Googled raw food on the internet, there was 2 websites, and one sold these little sausage foods that were basically, and I think they're still in some marketplaces, they're a wrapped seaweed with dried vegetables that looked like a pencil. And that was like the only thing you could buy. I think kale chips were out, but kale chips weren't even, that was something that you just didn't even look at. It was one of those things you saw in a supermarket that you never touched. Mm-hmm. So we have come so far, and raw food Googled on the internet now is like, what is it, 110 million hits or something?
Yeah, something ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. And because people are catching on, it actually is changing the planet. It's changing the way we feel. It's changing the way we think. It's changing the way we look. And, I have to say, it changes the way we think and the way we feel. And that is more important than the way we look. And when you start your process, it's first about getting healthy, but then you think healthy physically. What happens is you start getting healthy mentally and emotionally, and it just I want to say spirals, but it actually snowballs into this larger than life, beautiful, transformation.
Yeah, that's incredibly well put. And I feel like, too, with everything you said, what it's really about, definitely for me at this point, and I think where a lot of us are landing, is that, the food is beautiful. And I think, saturating yourself with the raw food, the live food idea, and practicing that for a period of time, it opens you up to a new set of possibilities. It opens up your brain. It opens up different neurochemistry. It makes you think differently. Your nervous system starts to get finely tuned. You become more sensitive. You start feeling people around you. You start feeling your environment. You get more tuned in with, maybe your pets or the animals or nature, and it starts to literally transform you into who you really are. And this is and I'm gonna open up the first question that I have with you, is that what does getting naked mean to Diana Stobo?
Ronnie, the reason I use the word naked is because when I wrote my story, which is not out yet, it's my life story, what resonated with me the most is that I said I wanted to feel good in my body naked. Mm-hmm. And I thought that's really what I've always wanted to feel. Not about looking good in the mirror or, well, I had no goals but to feel good in my body naked. And it was like, bam, bam, bam. I just kept hearing it over and over again. So my book is called My Body Naked. And when I started shopping publishers and doing talks, someone said, you should write a guideline about getting naked. And I said, okay. So and someone asked me, they're like, how can I get naked fast? And I said, that's it. That's the book, Get Naked Fast. So I started writing Get Naked Fast based on questions people ask me. And it's a marvelous guideline to starting to get naked. And again, I've sold, nearly 50,000 copies of this book for people who want to get naked. And it means stripping away the foods that weigh you down. Stripping away the foods that weigh you down, the things that are causing you to feel awful. Get them out of your system and immediately substitute them with things that make you happy, things that make you feel good in your body naked. And to get it into, the pragmatic rules here, it's no dairy, no wheat, no sugar, no meat, no caffeine, and no alcohol. However, there's room for movement inside there because there's so much more available to us now. Like I encourage sprouted grains and sprouted wheat, and I don't mind low acid coffees. I think that they're not as hard on the body. Mm-hmm. And when you start to take all that stuff out, you start integrating more live food into your body just changes. It has a reaction. It starts to feel alive. It starts to get younger looking, more energetic. Like you said, your cognitive function is off the charts. Your sensitivity to nature, to animals. I think that's funny you said that because my house is I'm like Dr. Doolittle. I've got so many animals in my house now. I'm like, how is this happening? They're like coming to me and they all follow me.
Yeah.
They follow me wherever I go. I'm like, there's more people in this house. Why are you following me? Mm-hmm. So getting naked is about feeling good in your body naked. And my mission, and I had to come up with a mission statement when I started my brand. And it really came down to not telling you what to do, not creating a rule book, but empowering you to make the choices, empowering you to eat for health, vibrance, and beauty. Empowering you. And whatever that means there are no rules. I'm not going to tell you should only eat one way or the other. Yeah. You should live in your power, feel good in your body naked. And people say to me, well, I like to eat meat. I want to eat meat. I want to eat eggs. I'm like, okay, let's talk about that. And we start talking about what kind of eggs should I eat? What kind of meat? And how much should I eat? And how should I prepare it? And so I said, that's fine. If that's what your body really wants and it really thrives off of it, who am I to say no? Your body's different than mine. So I give them ways to do it. I always say, eat your, egg yolks, uncooked. Make sure your meat is grass-fed, organic, and eat it rare so you have some enzymatic activity to help it digest itself. There's ways. I steer away from the dirty birds in general.